All right, welcome back to Fast Gadgets. So, just a short introductory video here. It's probably going to take me a little while to edit up this particular video, but as you can see right now, I've got my Lenovo Yoga 2 Pro here, and I'm currently running Fedora 24 on it. And if you saw my last video, you know that I was talking about putting a larger SSD into this unit and making a dual boot with Windows 10 and Fedora. And my main reason for doing that is because I've found that I really need Windows 10 support for the courses that I'm teaching, because a lot of the work we do is in Windows 10 and I want to show it to the students. And I do have a desktop system that's running Windows 10, but I don't have a system that's running Windows 10 that's portable that I can take places. Now, this system only has a 256 gigabyte SSD, and the thing about that is, whenever I have an SSD that small, I like to do one operating system or the other, because quite frankly, it just doesn't work well for me to do a dual boot with only 128 gigabytes free. So I have come to that point, and I made a purchase off of eBay. I've waited about a year to do this, actually, but I'm pretty geeked about this. So I thought I would do a quick unboxing, and then I will set to work. So what I got, and it was a used item, actually. Now, some people may say, why would you ever buy something used? But I've had really good success with used stuff. I bought used cell phones, used computer parts, refurbished computer parts, you name it. So I've opened the package, and now I have this, and I'm going to see if I can just slide it out, and I can. And let's see. I really don't want to take it out of the packaging until I'm ready to install it. But can you tell what this is? What is this? This is actually a mSATA style SSD, and the one that I decided to buy is a 1 terabyte Samsung 850 SSD EVO, and it currently has a Samsung EVO, and it's an 850, or it might be an 840, I actually can't remember. So, you know, certainly there are faster ones out there. Technology is advancing so rapidly. But the one that I have in there I'm really happy with, so I'm sure this one will do fine. But what I've got here with this 1 terabyte is wonderful. This is going to be my go-to machine. And I know I have the MacBook, and I still use the MacBook, and I love the MacBook, just like I like all the computers I have. But this system will be a dual boot with 512 gigabytes of operating system space for Windows 10, and then 512 gigabytes of space for Fedora 24. But I've been thinking about this. I talked in my previous video, because I tried Fedora 25 on here, and it, of course, had quite a few problems, but it's only a beta. I thought, you know, maybe, just maybe, I should think about this and not put Fedora 25 on this system and just go with Fedora 24 again. But, you know, I'm thinking, what the heck? I'll install Windows 10. I've got 512 gigabytes on that other partition, and I'll install Fedora 25 and do the updates, because there's quite a few updates, and see how that does. And as far as having to have a Fedora or a Linux system, I've got my other system, my other Lenovo system, that runs Fedora 23 and Windows perfectly fine. So I've got a go-to system with Fedora on it if I should need it. And I thought, you know, I could experiment with Fedora 25 and really give it some time. And I've already got the bootable USB all set up. So actually, no, I did change this Fedora 24, but I still have the ISO, so I can just create a new ISO. And the ISOs are on my other Lenovo system. So I might as well just go ahead and put Fedora 25 on it and consider it experimental. I'll just chalk it up as experimental, and at some point pretty soon here in November, the official release of Fedora 25 is coming, and I could just go ahead and do a DNF update, and voila, I'm on the official release of Fedora 25. So it's only less than a month away. So that's what I'm going to do, and that's what the SSD is for. So I'm going to go ahead and shut down this system and gear up. Don't need to click there now, do I? To do the install of the SSD. And we are going to install Windows 10 first, because Windows 10 doesn't play nice with Linux. And then I'm going to install Fedora 25. Alright, well, after a little bit of hunting, I successfully found a Torx screwdriver set that will work well with this particular computer. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and start taking off the Torx screws. And of course, I always like to ground out on a system that is grounded. So I have a Mac up here running that's grounded, and I'm going to discharge any possible static electric charge that I could have that would cause a problem. All right, so the hard drive's in. I'm going to go ahead and power it up, and we're going to see if it does recognize the drive. So I think what I'm going to do is use the Nova button so that I can boot into the BIOS and check the BIOS settings. All right, I don't know if you can see that, but it's got a Samsung SSD, 850 EVO mSATA, 1 terabyte. And I'm going to go ahead and exit. I don't think there's an OS on this drive, but might as well boot up and see if there is. I'm just curious. After all, it is used. Good. So, no, there isn't. Alright, so all I have to do is put the screws back on, and I am pretty much ready to begin my Windows installation. Okay, so I've created a bootable USB for Windows 10. Hopefully I got the EFI BIOS type selected correctly. I'm not really sure if I did or not. I selected MBR with EFI. I could choose GPT with EFI, and I could have choose BIOS with EFI CSM, I think it was, or something like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the Lenovo button so I can choose my boot up media, since I really don't have any other way to boot up. Okay. There we go. That tiny little button's hard to hit, but I guess that's the point anyway. I'm going to go into boot menu, EFI USB device. Let's see if it even boots up. I'm such a pessimist of Windows 10, you know, I just wonder if it'll actually even install correctly. One can hope, right? And once I get Windows 10 installed, then I want to get my Fedora Linux installed. Okay, now theoretically I should not have to enter a code because this particular system has a built-in code and it has already had Windows 10 installed on it. I don't know if that's true or not, but basically what I'm trying to do is just do a raw direct install. So it is asking me for a key code. And I was under the impression that the key code was in built into the BIOS. So I can get a key code, but hoping I don't have to. So we're going to do a custom. It is seeing the whole drive, which is awesome. So I need to make a new partition. And I'm going to make it half the drive. Well, actually 931, so that would be 450 plus 15, so it'd be, I don't know, 480 seems about right. And I will apply it. Duh. I made it 480 megabytes. That's not going to help much. So here we're going to do new again. And I need to do 480,000. Apply. To ensure that all programs work correctly, Windows might create additional partitions, it says. Recovery partition. Yeah, I guess that's fine. I still get 462 gigs left for my Linux drive, which is awesome. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do the install, and I think that, if I actually have to have a key code, I guess I'll use the one I got, but I do have some Windows 8.1 key codes too, from MSDNAA, also known as DreamSpark, also known as Microsoft Imagine. So we're going to let this install go through, and hopefully it won't take too long. And I'm kind of hoping, it will recognize the Windows 8 code that's supposedly built into the BIOS. That's as I understand it with newer computers, so it really shouldn't be asking me for a code. But the first thing I'm going to try is a Windows 8 code, because I want to save this code for Windows 10 that I have, so that I can use it on another system for test purposes or whatnot. I kind of miss the days where I could just install Windows 8 and then upgrade it to Windows 10. But I do like the idea of doing a clean install here. And I'm not sure what drivers I'll need or whatever. Hopefully it won't be too complicated. So this is running off a USB 3 thumb drive, which is a really fast one. It's a SanDisk Cruiser UltraFit 32 gigabyte on a USB 3 port. And I'm thinking the install won't take too long. And I'm going to go ahead and pause while it's doing this. No point in making you guys watch the installation. So we'll be back. All right, well, Windows has done its installation, and so now it wants to get connected. So we'll let it connect. I'm curious. This is the anniversary edition, so I'm going to go ahead and do customize. I want to see what we've got. I don't like the personalization. Don't want to send typing and personalization data. Don't want the advertising ID. Don't need that Skype stuff. Don't need location services right now. If I do need it, I guess I can turn it on. And I don't like suggested open hotspots. Not going to automatically connect to hotspots temporarily. Not going to send full diagnostics, although I see it still sends some basic data. You know, I think at this point I will leave smart screen on. I don't think I'll be sending my browsing data to Microsoft. I am not going to be a update hub for other PCs. Really the typical questions in the install. I don't see a whole lot of change in the installation. Yeah, I don't have. Curious. I see. Oh no. I don't remember what my local domain password is. You'll set up a local account now and then join the domain in settings. But I don't want to do that. Don't we have other choices?
Make your computer easy.
Oh God. Well, create an account for this PC, even though I've already got an account. Okay. We'll create a basic one. How about that? Yeah, I don't need a hint. Are you kidding me? Oh my God, Microsoft. Okay. Oh boy. I don't know about you guys, but I just feel so dirty when I install Windows 10, like that I'm being used feeling. Getting things ready. Don't turn off your PC. We're glad you're here. I'm thinking, I bet you are. Well, I'll be back. I'm going to pause this for right now. Not a lot going on. All right, well, the deed is done. Windows 12 installed. Windows 12. I'm killing myself. Windows 10 installed perfectly fine. There's a whole bunch of stuff wrong. The automatic lighting is in effect, so I have to fix that so it doesn't dim the screen automatically. I don't have any of my apps installed or any of my tools installed, so I got to go through and do that. But basically, it went through without a hitch when the Windows 10 install. I'm actually very impressed. I think what I'm going to do is end this video here because the next leg of my journey is to install Fedora 24 or 25, and I haven't really decided which one yet, but I'm kind of leaning towards Fedora 25 because it's only, you know, about a month away before they release the official. So I think once I do the Fedora 25 updates, I wouldn't have any problem. So I think that's going to be the plan, but we'll call this part one. I know a lot of people don't like a two-parter, but I'm kind of late on time here. I've got to go and get some other work done. So thank you for watching. So far, so good. We're halfway there. Hope you enjoyed.